Hello and welcome. I'm Geeta Mohan and you're watching India Today Global. Now, after delivering on the promise to get the Israeli hostages back to their families, U.S. President Donald Trump is in Egypt's Sharm el-Sheikh city, where he is attending the summit on Gaza Peace Plan. The Peace Summit is co-hosted by U.S. President Donald Trump and his Egyptian counterpart, Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. Trump, who addressed the Israeli parliament, the Knesset, praised not only the efforts of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, but also a host of Arab countries for ushering in peace in the region. Trump also spoke about playing a role in the rehabilitation of Gazans through the Board of Peace headed by Trump. Leaders from more than 20 countries are in Egypt for the summit. The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was supposed to participate in the summit earlier. The office later clarified that he won't. The Hamas, too, has kept away from the summit. But the chairman of the Palestinian Liberation Organization, Mahmoud Abbas, also known as Abu Mazen, is participating along with leaders from the UK, France, Germany, Turkey, Spain, Italy, European Council President, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres. There's also representation from Norway, Canada, Pakistan, and India's Minister of State for External Affairs, Kirtivardhan Singh, is representing Prime Minister Modi as a special envoy to the summit. It was a moment of celebration, tears, reuniting with friends, relatives, sons and daughters. Yes, a moment Israel and the whole world waited for 2 years. A peace plan that was designed by the U.S. president and also a campaign promise to end war in 24 hours took 2 years to finally see daylight. Trump landed in Israel on this historic occasion to be cheered and thanked by Israeli lawmakers and the citizens. Will Trump's claims to end the 8th war mark his path to win the Nobel Peace Prize next year? Mahashweta Lala with this report.
A moment unfathomable, a wait that has finally come to an end.
I also want to give a very special thanks to the Amir of Qatar, a man who's outstanding. He's been a friend of mine for a long time, long before politics, and he's a fantastically respected man. His Highness Sheikh Tamim is respected by everybody. He's respected by everybody and in the most positive way, not only because of power, because of his heart. He's got a tremendous heart, and he's a great leader, and his country loves him. Thank you very much for being here. It's an honor. Let me also express our condolences to the Qataris on the tragic car crash that claimed the lives of your cherished diplomats, some of whom were known by our people, and they were supposed to be incredible people. So please extend our sorrow and best wishes. That was tough. That was really tough. On this extraordinary occasion, I also want to give our sincere thanks to President Erdogan of Turkey. He's always there when I need him. He's such a tough guy. He is tough as you can be, but we love him. And when they have a problem with you, they always call me to handle it. And usually I come through. We just have a good relationship, and we have from the beginning. And so I want to thank you very much and say hello to your wife, your beautiful wife. And it's great to be with you. Always there. When I need him, he's always there. Thank you very much, Mr. President. And I also want to thank, I just spoke to him on the phone, His Royal Highness Crown Prince Mohammed, Saudi Arabia, a special friend of mine. Boy, he's come so long and so far, and he's doing a fantastic job for his country. And I want to just thank him. And, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed of the United Arab Emirates is here. Where? He's here someplace. Well, he's not here, but he's here in spirit, I can tell you that. And he's been another one. He's been absolutely incredible, and we appreciate it very much. And His Majesty King Abdullah of Jordan, and thank you very much, King Abdul of Jordan. He's here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. And you really have been a great helper. We appreciate it. appreciate it. Prime Minister Sharif of Pakistan, and also I have to say my favorite field marshal from Pakistan, who's not here, but the Prime Minister is here, and you're going to give his regards. Where are you? There you go. Thank you very much. Do you want to say what you said to me the other day? Come, would you like to say what you said the other day? I think it was so nice. Please.
Thank you very much, my dear President Trump, my dear brother President Fattah el-Sisi of Egypt, Majesties, Highnesses.
Okay, that was President Trump at the Gaza Peace Summit in Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt. He thanked everybody for the participation, the role that they played, but more importantly, the role that President Trump has played, a very critical one. And it is a moment of celebration, but also tears and reuniting with friends and relatives that we were talking about. Let's go across and look at how the people in Israel celebrated this uniting of families.
A moment unfathomable, a wait that has finally come to an end. Israel celebrated the release of its 20 living hostages from the clutches of Hamas. This coincided with the visit of US President Donald Trump, who made a historic visit to the holy city of Jerusalem during his second term in office. As it was an emotional moment for the Israelis, so was it for the Palestinians, who were released from the Israeli prisons. Israel released 250 Palestinians and 1,700 others detained in Gaza during the war. As borders on both sides welcomed the homecoming of their dear ones, Donald Trump, the man of the hour, was honored with Trump chants and a standing ovation at the Israeli parliament, the Knesset.
What the world needs now are more leaders who are brave, resolute, strong, and bold. The world needs more Trumps.
Trump, who was touted by many world leaders for this year's Nobel Peace Prize for ushering in peace for the Israel-Gaza conflict, was nominated by Israeli Parliament Speaker Amir Ohana for next year's Nobel Peace Prize. Israeli President Isaac Herzog announced the Israeli Presidential Medal of Honor for Trump.
I hereby announce that together with our good friend, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, we will rally speakers and presidents of parliaments from around the world to submit your candidacy for the Nobel Peace Prize next year. There is no one more deserving than you, President Trump. No one.
Trump was praised for his exemplary role in bringing an end to the hostage crisis and was rightly described for fulfilling a Jewish saying from the Talmud, which says, and I quote, "Whoever saves one life is as if he has saved the entire world," unquote.
Donald Trump is the greatest friend that the state of Israel has ever had in the White House. No American president has ever done more for Israel. We have paid a high price for this war. But our enemies now understand just how powerful and just how determined Israel is. They understand that attacking Israel on October 7th was a catastrophic mistake.
Netanyahu, who praised Trump's efforts for disabling Iran from building nuclear weapons and initiating the Abraham Accords, said he was committed to peace in the region.
Mr. President, you are committed to this peace. I am committed to this peace. The coming years will hopefully be a time for peace. Peace inside Israel and peace outside Israel.
It is now my distinct honor to invite the President of the United States of America, His Excellency Donald J. Trump.
As Trump walked up to the podium, chants of Trump echoes across the Knesset. Trump lauded the efforts of Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner for making the 20-point peace deal happen.
Most importantly with Steve, he's just a great guy. Everybody loved him. Everybody loves Steve, and they respect him, and they somehow can relate to him. Very special thanks to someone who truly loves Israel. Jared has been so helpful. He really did something very special.
Trump also praised Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for agreeing to the 20-point peace plan.
And he is not easy, I want to tell you. He's not the easiest guy to deal with, but that's what makes him great. Thank you very much, baby. Great job.
Trump also rubbished allegations of waging wars. In fact, he added the Israel-Hamas ceasefire to his war accolades, calling it his 8th victory in ending wars across the globe. But a moment of rejoice and tears on the return of the hostages was turned into laughter when Trump shared light moments about Netanyahu and Yair Lapid's speeches.
As soon as I'm finished, I'm quite late. You've kept me quite late between opposition leaders and Bibi's brilliant but very long speech. I thought I was going to run up here, make a speech, and then head to Egypt. It didn't work out, though. And you made a pretty long one, too, Sarah.
Trump's next trip to Egypt for a summit in Gaza Peace brings in leaders from more than 20 countries. But the two main stakeholders, Israel and Hamas, stayed out. Is Trump the harbinger of peace? Is Russia-Ukraine war next on the agenda? The geopolitical moves of Trump will determine if he will go down in the history as the US president who brought peace to the world. Mahashweta Lala, Bureau Report, India Today.
And joining me from Tel Aviv, Israel, is Tal Ben-dur. She is a survivor of the Noah Music Festival. Tal, if you could first just begin with your experience, what had happened,
all, thank you very
what's your
much.
memory, and then we'll talk about the hostage release.
Well, first of all, thank you very much. Well, at October 7th, I was at the festival with another 14 friends. Some of us came with a shuttle and others by car. I came with the shuttle. 6:29, everything started, the missile attack, and then we went to the minibus, but then we started hearing gunfire stronger and stronger. So we went off the shuttle and we suddenly saw a girl wounded with 3 shots in her leg. From this moment, we started running and we escaped running for 3 hours. We ran to the east and we saw many things along the way until other people found us in the middle of nowhere. They were producers of another festival and they came for setting up their event that should have been in November. And they heard what happened and drove closer with their cars to rescue people. And they took us to a farm named Tal-Or, where we stayed for about 7 hours, waiting for someone to rescue us, but no one came. Eventually, we got off the farm and got back home independently with the cars of the producers of the Midburn Festival. And I arrived to the center of Israel after 13 hours. Not everyone got back. Unfortunately, my friend Sharona Shmuni Israel was murdered. in the death ambulance. She was in an ambulance with, there were 18 people there, and the Hamas shot an RPG. So that's the way we found out after 9 days. And also our driver, Suhaib Abu Amar Ramzan, he was our driver, and the terrorists took him and forced him to translate between them and the hostages in Be'eri. After that, they murdered him.
Right, right. Tal, now, how are you looking at the release of the hostages? It's a big day. 20 of them have been released, a massive achievement. How are you looking at this moment now?
Well, there's a lot of excitement and happiness in the air. Many people waited for this moment for so long. For so long, it felt like a dream that could never come true. And here, now it happens. Everyone is getting back home now. Besides the happiness of the hostages that are alive, we have also the grief of the ones that are not with us anymore. For me, there's a complex of emotions. It's very complicated because also I'm truly happy and truly excited for them. And I cry tears of happiness today. But in the same breath, I must say we're handling a lot at the moment, the Nova survivors. Unfortunately, a Nova survivor killed himself this Friday. He burned himself in a car. He couldn't stand the pain anymore. So today was his funeral. You can only imagine what is for us to feel all this complex of emotions all together, because for us the war is still getting on. We're still having triggers from all the things that are related to October 7th, and people need support. And right now I really hope that after the war is gone, they will have the strength and the support that they need. All the hostages that got back and all the survivors.
Right. Tal, you're talking about the survivors. Nova survivors have had a traumatic experience, like you just spelled out, some not being able to take it anymore and giving up on their own lives. How many are you working with very closely in terms of the kind of trauma that you see in not just the survivors, but also those who have been released in the past?
I know we're having like dozens of Nova survivors, and really the situation is like they're like ticking bombs, if you know what I mean. So I know everyone needs that support, and people need to be seen. Also the bereaved families, also the hostages. Now we can finally breathe when the hostages are back, but still we know that there are many terrorists that are released on the same breath. So as I said, it's very complicated, but I'm focusing today on being happy and really emotional because I waited for this moment for so long.
Completely understand. Dal, just stay on with us. We're also being joined by a security expert, a security affairs expert, Rohan Gunaratne. Rohan, you've been tracking, following situations very, very closely. You're looking at a peace deal where Netanyahu is missing, as also the Hamas. Where do you see this headed?
Geeta, what we have seen is there are three phases to this peace plan. The first phase is the release of the hostages, and of course, the release of the the Palestinian prisoners by Israel. The second phase is the disarmament of Hamas. Hamas and the other threat groups have refused to disarm. So the second phase is going to be the toughest phase. The third phase is a demilitarization of the Gaza Strip. Certainly, the first phase has been very successful. President Trump was able to convince the Arab leaders and also the leader of Turkey to exercise pressure on Hamas and its allies to release the hostages. So the next phase will be a challenge. That phase, of course, they will have to bring Hamas and its allies and Netanyahu on the same platform so that there will be progress. This is the very first step in a prolonged and a protracted peace process.
For those following not just the developments, but the history also very closely, Oslo Accord, we thought is going to be a big deal, but it failed. It failed to bring lasting peace. Over here with the Hamas now saying that they do not trust Israel, will not disarm completely unless and until they see some forward movement. The question and controversy over bodies of Israeli hostages being handed over or not, which Donald Trump himself explained could take time. In such a scenario, do you see a situation where there could be violation of ceasefire?
Yes, there can be, and that is why it is so important for all the actors to be very patient and to ensure that there is no disruption. Of course, the key player here is Donald Trump, because he was able to exercise his influence on Turkey, on Qatar, and Egypt to get Hamas and its allies to release the hostages. This would have been unthinkable at one point. So the next phase is the greatest challenge, and that is where anything can go wrong. But today's meeting in Sharm el-Sheikh, where 20 world leaders attended, I believe that there is hope, because President Trump will get those countries, at least some of them, to commit troops to create an international stabilization force. And also some countries will provide economic assistance to rebuild Gaza. But what is central is disarmament of Hamas. Hamas is a very deadly, a very dangerous terrorist organization like Al-Qaeda and like ISIS. It has committed very serious atrocities. So there must be significant monitoring and significant pressure to ensure that Hamas evolves into an entity that doesn't conduct these attacks.
Right, Rohan, the summit is underway right now. We'll have to wait and see how that really pans out and what President Trump has to say in substance. Right now, he's just thanking all those stakeholders. But for now, I'll have to thank you and Tal for joining me here on the network. News and updates will continue on the other side of a short break. Do stay tuned. Goodbye and take care.